Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Kundalini, the inner human soul, and enlightening, educating, empowering soul of the world, which is there in every human being. This is a symbol which I started making in 1995, and this is after 30 years the stage which I brought, and what form is going to take over, I'm sure it will stick. But this is something which has taught me the impeccable wisdom of maths, physics, chemistry, and medical sciences. I am not talking of a subject for everyone. This is meant for only people who want to know the entire universe within their physical body and reveal the thing and lead a perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy life. And that concept I talk about Om, and this symbol, and this is Akhand, an integrated universal consciousness and the divine design of nature. There is a mathematics in it, there is physics, there is chemistry, there is medical sciences. All the 64 arts are there in this particular thing. It's a summation of pure science, truthful, honest, which everyone in the world should know to be healthy, wealthy, wise, and happy. Now I make one statement, making few statements which are very dear to me. Can an amazing effect happen without a cause? And I know no. Whatever we are doing today in any form is out of the necessity for improving a lot. And that's it. Can impeccable wisdom emerge from nothing? No. There has to be something from which everything emerges, and that is where a start from zero, from all the mathematics of from zero, and step by step how it started from the beginning and unfolded in a sequence is more important. Could I recognize the divine design of nature? Because I have recognized first sentence. Was a big question. Could I conceive the divine design of nature? Is another question. Could I reveal the divine design of nature? Is a big question. Was the time for spiritual science again? Spirituality and science had to come together to realize the divine design of nature. Was the time for Kundalini Yoga initiation right? These are the questions which were there in my mind, but I don't think I was very conscious or super conscious about it. But everything happens because things have to happen. Whatever work I've done in so many lives earlier, and culmination starts from one step to step to step. And I've gone on record, there are many births of mine when I learnt the effect of that was it within my Kundalini and its chakras around. And effect of that has helped me to understand things which others have failed to even recognize. I think that shows even a journey in spiritual science is based on reincarnation, and it takes many, many births to realize to be one with the universal consciousness. And when I say the sages who wrote Vedas and Upanishads were pro-Brahmans, they understood A to Z, and I've shown it very clearly. Nirankar Nirgun Brahman to Sakar Sargun Brahman to Anubhav Brahman. And the one who is in tune knows it. Anyone who is not thinking of universal consciousness, is not aware of the self inside and the divine consciousness, would never know. The desire to know is also essential. And somebody says spirituality, there is no desire. No. Desire to know the perfection, truthful, honest, and only with the conscientiousness of the nature which not compromise on anything can go to the highest level of consciousness. Anybody who is going to copy which others have said, they are not going to experience within their own self. They cannot imagine to be perfect at any stage. You got to be perfect yourself. For me, the biggest critic of me is myself. Unless until I am fully satisfied that every defect has been removed, I will not in a position to go beyond to that level. And that is elimination. That is what has brought me to this particular level. Now come to the question of first 40 years. I have done a wonderful work with respect to education, profession, life, and otherwise, and there is no compromise whatsoever. Unknowingly aware or unaware of it, subconsciously, unconsciously, I led a beautiful life. and nobody can find fault even single thing of first 40 years of my life. But then I think having done unconsciously, subconsciously, maybe nature wanted me to now have the realize and come to the impeccable wisdom, because first 40 years it was more or less based on the information which is given, but then trying to find fault with it and given something very unconsciously, subconsciously. But then when you are ready for 40 years of education, impeccable wisdom, exemplary performance, record breaking, you would definitely have something more prepared for. And that is also something I do believe. When you are moving on the higher side, divinity goes with you, because divinity chooses only the one who's capable of doing it. Anyway, leave it at that. Unconsciously, unknowingly, accidentally, I was initiated to simplified Kundalini Yoga by Maharishi Vetatri, this gentleman in Chennai. He asked me to sit in Padmasana, lotus posture, on the ground. He placed his right thumb between my eyebrows. Can you imagine? I am sitting on the ground in lotus pose. He puts his thumb right between my eyebrows. And these are the eyebrows, and you can see my eyes looking at the center. And this is where is my picture of that particular stage. And I was looking at that, and he asked me to keep it there for 22 minutes, and his hand was there only for 20 minutes. What he was doing, I had no idea. But I was asked to look at that particular spot for 22 minutes continuously without shifting my attention. I was not to close my eyes, and I would just look at it without blinking even for a fraction. I think that consistent thing was absolutely essential. But as this was happening, maybe around 15-16 minutes later, I found something moving in my upper abdomen, which you can see in my picture in the soil, and it was rotating clockwise as such. After rotating for clockwise in that particular place I call Manipura chakra, are the center where digestion, a stomach is there, samana prana for digestion, and from there it moved to the left side around the heart, stuck there for a little while, then slowly moved up to the spot where he had put his hand between my eyebrows. And this experience within my body was very precise, concise, and at all, and I had never expected, because I was never into Kundalini yoga chantras at all. I was totally a person who into academics, profession, and doing wonderfully well as a good human being. And this was the experience of something within my body. But I am made to understand this kind of experience by a person who has no idea. I don't think it has been done by anybody else. Anyway, now this was the experience. You can see Kundalini moving there, and the channel through which it comes to the center from Manipura to Agnya Chakra. This is what happened in 1991. This is a graphic presentation of that. Now the question comes, a genuine question. Why did I feel Kundalini in Manipura chakra? I had gone for initiation after my breakfast. That is the reality. I was not told that you should go for initiation on empty stomach. So I had no idea, and nobody told me. So I had my heavy breakfast on Sunday and then moved to the center. And as I reached it, hardly 5-10 minutes distance, sat there, and then he did that. He also did not ask me a question whether I had my breakfast or not breakfast. Nothing, no questions were asked. Then the voice of silence. Kundalini rises from Manipura for digestion. Now I am making it clear. It is not a phenomena which cannot be explained. And I always say mythology is not something which cannot be explained. Everything can be explained provided you have an experience and you can feel it. I had gone after breakfast. Kundalini, the Antaratma, was working from digestion at that stage, and that's it. And effective digestion of nutrition, Kundalini is important because it goes wherever it is required. And as I told you, Manipura also is Samana Prana, which is for digestion. and rest of 45 minutes. For the rest is essential to start anything for that matter, because that's a minimum time. Preferably I will call it 1.5 hours. If you can follow that, you will not have something at this side. But having done this, if it is moving from there to a particular place, is something which I was concentrating on without flicking even for a moment. And that is the concentration, contemplation is required, that I like students who listen to me without even fraction of a distance. They are the one who can do very well. Similarly, I could do, because I could focus for 22 minutes without even blinking my eyes. Then come to after, since I had experience and it was wonderful, then I asked him what he has anything else to teach me. He said Turiyatitam. Then he taught me, you focus your concentration 1 foot over the head, and that is where Sahasrara Chakra is. And I think that was the stage I called Samadhi in my research. I could concentrate within the body, I could concentrate no concentration, I could concentrate on Muladhara Chakra, I also could concentrate in Sahasrara Chakra, and later I found I could concentrate any part of the universe, right up to pole star, Dhruva. I have gone on to record that. Now, after having done this wonderful experience within my body, then what I did for next 2 years, I studied all the books available. I am a research scholar and a scientist from the very beginning. I am a mathematician who wants to understand physics, chemistry and medical sciences with mathematical design only. And I also know proper theoretical knowledge is essential for research. Without a proper mathematical, physics, chemistry and sciences, you cannot do any research at all. And that's time when I started learning to understand what are the chakras, nadis, kundalini, tantra by and large. And for next 2 years, almost all the available books which were available, I got it from my friend, and reading each and every conscientiously, after 2 years I came to only one conclusion. Not even one book was talking of the something which I experienced within myself. My subjective experience was very different from the book knowledge, and that is a starting point for research. If this is the state of will, then I cannot find anywhere to go forward. It was a wonderful experience which needed to be objectively testified. That conviction, you have an experience, now you testify, because equipments as on today are phenomenal, and over a period they become better and better. All technocrats of the world have done a wonderful job, but I am sorry, with the state of maths, physics, chemistry and medical sciences, which is very deficient, I am trying to rectify that. And there were too many misconceptions which did not go well with me, was the thing which is required. Somehow the knowledge of book confused me, and more I got, more and more I was confused. Hence I decided to first go for learning this yoga from a conventional school conscientiously by myself. And that's the time I went to school of yoga to learn for 4 months. And 4 months science of yoga, this was based on Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Patanjali Yoga Sutra has 8 stages: Yama, Niyam, Yogasana, Pranayam, Pratihara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. 8 stages. Out of these 4 months course, from September 92 to December 1992, first month was physical exercise, yogasanas. Second month, pranayam are breathing exercises. Third month, Tratkam, to see the eyes, including what he did it in 1st January. Fourth month was concentrate inside and visualize things step by step, and meditation inside. It's not something different, but within self. Take a subject and understand. These are the 4 months which were there, and that was very enlightening. And I could do the yogasana, pranayam, pratkam and meditation so easily, so effectively, as if I've been doing that every. Maybe someone who's very conscientious student, listening to every subject the teachers are teaching, reading books clearly and reproducing in a much better way, is a very good person to flow with yogasanas or yoga, pranayama, meditation, etc. Now, during that particular meditation, last day of the 4 months, the gentleman Mahesh Yoga, he said, now we are going to do an experiment on meditation of rising of light within the body. He did not use the word Kundalini at all. He said, first imagine a ball of light in the pelvic region or Mooladhara chakra. This is the state which is there at that particular stage. You can see the white light at Mooladhara chakra. Then he said, you move on to the next stage, bring it to the sacrum level, which is Swadhisthana chakra, sexual energy, and see the light. I could see the light in that area, and his movement was very, very clear. Mooladhara to Swadhisthana moved very well, focus was absolutely clear. Then third, he asked me, raise the voice to now to bring it to Nabhi stage. First is the Mooladhara, which is solid element. Second is the water element. This is fire element. Then these three stages come, and I was very clear how I could feel that within myself, very white light, clear. Then he says, raise it to Anhata level, the heart level, which is Vayu element. I thought that's amazing on the whole. We have come from solid to water to fire to Vayu, four clearly, and I could feel the movement in the heart. I could see things moving around, was amazing concentration. And this is something without a training from anybody else. Then next, with the fifth state, I went to Vishuddhi chakra within the throat, and that was amazing. But very moment I reached that white light there, I had a jerk, and I saw myself in a white bag of light. And as the light started from inside and expanded to outside, I could see around me, back, front, left, right, top, bottom, full of light, light, light. The shunya which was there in the beginning has become a circle and then sphere. And this is the picture which I see. That was first time I realized what is shunya or sunya or zero, which Vedas are talking about, and how it starts from inside and how it moves out and how it remains. Maybe by the time these 5 stages should be, you have earth element, you have water element, you have fire element, you have air element, and you have essence or quintessence or ether, Akash Bhuta. And within these 5, I think you get the concentration there. First, because my concentration was good, I could experience that. Now my concentration is me and the light was the Kundalini movement. I think it was a phenomenon. Then I had unexpected advice from them. When I told the same thing, the yoga teacher Mahesh, this is what I experienced. He asked me to not talk about to anyone at all. I said, why? They will think you have gone mad, you are insane, another thing. I could not believe my ears. It is a conscious appear. I have experienced it. Why people are thinking that is unnatural hallucination or something defective? And that was another interesting point. A genuine experience, and it's a madness, it is insane. I just can't believe. A genuine spiritual experience is not a madness. That's how the world is. That's no wonder the geniuses on the whole are considered lunatics, because they think they talk of something which ordinary people do not even know about it. I think that was another point for me to work with. I am a genius, my records are there, that has been accepted, but here when I say I can see the light with this around me, nobody is able to believe that, and that to a yoga teacher. But now I know as a medical doctor, skin, eyes and nervous system is developed from ectoderm only. Zygote becomes into 3: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Ectoderm is for nervous system, skin, eyes and nervous system. Endoderm for all the organs, and mesoderm for bones and muscles. That's it. And I know very well skin cells like cell can be trained to see a light around, because they have the sensitivity of seeing the light. And I have done that. We did a lot of tests after that, and I am convinced We can produce light in the skin and test it also. Now come to the question of next stage. Having done 8 stages of Patanjali Yoga Sutra very clearly, including to meditation and seeing the light. And Patanjali says, stop the fluctuation mind, you come to yoga only after that. Real journey of Kundalini Yoga starts after 8 stages. I think that is rare. Only once you are pure yourself, truthful, honest, otherwise, only then you are going to experience the Kundalini within itself. That means without going for Yogasana for 40 years, without understanding of Yam, Niyam, Yogasana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, etc., itself I could experience, because you are moving on very well as a truthful person. These are the exercises, but without that also your life is like that. Now, having done 8, I think the stage has come to under Kundalini. He opened and then experienced the chakras, and now Kundalini started happening. Initially, it was a movement of Kundalini chakras, which are very one channel. But in 93, I had the experience of learning. After learning many other forms of yoga, experimenting with pranayam, meditation, other ways, I found the Kundalini rising inside and going into the 3 channels, Ida, Pingla and Sushumna Nadi, and moving on that, and I found that everything that they stopped at 10 different stages. That's why I realized that Kundalini chakras are not 7. According to Sat Chakra, there are 6, but in my case there were 10 chakras, from Mooladhara to Swadhisthana to Nabhi to Manipura to Anhata to Vishuddhi to Ajna, Vigyan and Pragyan to Sahasrara. These are the 10 stages which made it very clear they are not 7, 10. I think that was a fantastic yoga of Chakra Yoga or Kundalini Yoga as such. Then come to stage when Swami Sukhavathananda's program in December 93, we had intensive training for 4 days. And that light could be seen in the picture you can see of mine. You can see the light aura both the sides. You can even see a defined line with the eyes, and you can even see the light on top of my head, which incidentally you don't see in other 2 people. That was phenomenal, and I was surprised that photo taken in my own Canon A1 had such a crystal clear picture. Now, after that, for next 2 years, I went on learning different experiments to try to understand how this particular energy can be used to experience. And I found in one of the experiments in 1995, I found that Kundalini breaking Brahma Granthi and entering into Brahman Nadi, which is central canal within that, and how with the hush it moved up to the ventricles and made me into integrated experience. This was phenomenal experience of Kundalini entering after breaking Brahman Nadi into Brahman Nadi after Granthi and getting into ventricles, which I call Vaikunt, and then I could see the light within my brain itself. And that's the first time I realized that most of us see only 2 sides, length and breadth. Even depth you cannot see. But I could see things moving in my eyes very clearly in 10 dimensions. I think that was phenomenal experience, and that was Antar Yoga, which I call the 10th stage of Akhand Yoga itself. And having done that, I found it was amazing. But meantime, 91 I had experience. 93 I started the preliminary pilot studies, and by 95 I had seen the changes in EEG itself. Now in 93 I applied, got it. Work was done in tuberculosis hospital and Madras Medical College EEG lab simultaneously. All the biophysical tests were tested, EEG was tested, heart was tested, lungs were tested. Everything scientifically best at that particular stage was available in both the centers. I think it was phenomenal. Now I am going to talk to you about a normal EEG of 100 years which is spoken about throughout the world. 10.5 Hz alpha wave seen in the posterior part of the brain. As I say, posterior side is sensory, front is motor, and you can see alpha frequency at 10.5 only from the posterior part when the mind is at rest and eyes are closed. This is observation of neuroscientists of the world. No alpha waves are seen in rest of the brain is very well recorded. I am thinking the alpha waves are replaced by faster beta waves. After opening the eyes, no alpha waves are seen. This is a statement. And this is called alpha block or desynchronization, which is the neuroscientists of the world are talking about. This is a normal EEG which neuroscientists talk about. But after 2 years of thing which I found, 93, you can see my EEG before closed eyes and opening eyes. After opening the eyes, you do not see alpha, you see alpha only with that. But by the time in 95 came, you can see a change. Alpha frequency appearing as I opened the eyes itself. I think that was a phenomenal change in the research which was unheard of before. And I think that was a starting point for research to move on. This 95 experience and my experience of feeling insight both moved in together. And I think this is where when you are very concentrated person doing things carefully with self-awareness, things happen. Now initial research asked the yoga expert to volunteer controls, then recorded first 30 experienced yoga teachers or people expert in meditation for self and produced whether they are also able to produce alpha frequency with open eyes. No yoga teacher could do it. That's it. Whereas I could do it effortlessly. These were the two changes which came. And that is the time the doctor committee and others said it's very good to use EEG to find the qualitative changes. But quantitative changes are more important for a research work. That's the time they felt the need for power spectrum analysis of EEG, which was not available in government general hospital EEG department at all. Incidentally, I had a friend, A.C. Gangadhar, who had done PhD in IIT Chennai, and he had the facility for one channel to be done with a computer, and he was very kind enough to convert my EEG equipment results into power spectrum simultaneously and analyze one channel at a time at that particular stage. And a new research, new recording started, and then I brought into 3 concentrations with this. One, dharana without any concentration at all, emptiness. Dhyana, concentration in the pelvic region or Muladhara chakra. Samadhi, the concentration on top of the head or Sahasrara chakra. These the 3 things were done with the closed eyes for 2 minutes and open eyes for 2 minutes. This is research which I designed for myself. 2 minutes without concentration, 2 minutes with concentration bottom, 2 minutes with top, followed by 2 minutes of opening the eyes at dharana, dhyan and samadhi. This 2 plus 2 into 3 is minimum 12 minutes state or EEG taken as a sequence without any interference. I think moving step by step for no concentration to concentration bottom to concentration on top, 3 distinct results were recorded. I think that was a phenomenal new kind of research ever done in the history of research. Now the result I am giving of the 2 of what was put in 2001 in my PhD result in thesis as well as synopsis. This picture is the one with the closed eyes. You can see that in look at picture both are identical. But if you look at concentration in samadhi, control subject and me, only difference you see, I have a power of 3 times more than the power you see in other people. That means Kundalini gives you the energy power much beyond that, and you could record that. This was the power recorded. Also the frequency at that moment was not recorded, and this was only to power. But with the open eyes you see the difference in samadhi. In my case, which is the main subject, is almost more than 3 times. And you see in the control subject, but there is something more in this particular. Alpha frequency is high, beta is less in my case, whereas alpha is low, beta is more, power is more, but that is also 1/3 the size of mine. This is what I say. If you can go to the Samadhi stage and Sahasrara Chakra, energy is phenomenal because your Kundalini has moved from lower to this. That means the power with which it moves up is phenomenal. Maybe that's the reason I'm talking about that IQ in my case could be 1000, which is Sahasrara's power. If Kundalini talked about 1000 and Mooladhara only 4, I think there was a meaning, and that is the reason I'm talking. Now let's talk about the few concepts of the Kundalini as such. Kundalini is derived from the word Kundal, means moving in circle orbits alone. And the ratio of a sleeping is 22/21, the circle around which is there in Akhand itself. Involution and evolution. Involution is 21, evolution is 22. And that is what the whole concept of Brahmank, 21 becoming 22, has been seen in Upanishad very clearly and also in science fiction. So ascending, then as the ascending Kundalini starts waking up, rising, it takes a spiral form, but it's not 22/21 anymore, it goes beyond. And I know from my experience the ratio of ascending Kundalini approximately like pi, 22/7, which is equivalent to 3.142857. This is again a mathematical design correction of what pi they talk about it and pi I talk about it. Precise, concise, to the point. I think that was an amazing experience. The rising from resembles like shivling itself. Please see the next page presentation. This is what I have seen in this particular thing. You can see the length and breadth is like 22. And even Satchakra Nirupana talks about Kundalini as shank, like a conch you can see on the website, which length and breadth is Devyank ratio. And also it has got circle 3 width. It goes around 3 plus coils, you can see. But it is not 3 plus coils. That means 3.142857 is the thing. That is exactly the ratio of pi. So no wonder pi has been considered very good mathematical design, and Kundalini has got that as thing. When it is sleeping, is Kundalini around that. When it becomes height. You can see as such. Now same thing. When you go further, I'm expecting to show also seen in the form of Devyank ratio, which is 1.618034 into 1, and also the everything which comes from my mathematical design, I experienced with that within the Kundalini itself. I think the whole design was revealed to me through Kundalini Yoga itself, and further step by step, step by step. And that is not the beauty I saw in any of the books written by any other people. They were only copying the old Satchakra Nirupana, trying to explain that with their own mindset, not with any experience. That's what I've been saying. Researchers should have an experience and only then do research. No doing research on something which you have not experienced. That research will be of no use. And unfortunately, that is only research which you do in maths, physics, chemistry, and medical sciences. No wonder there are defects and defects and defects, because the concept itself is defective mathematics. Now I also realize that Kundalini is nothing but Aditi. Aditi is helium-4, which is synthesized inside the sun, and from hydrogen is sun, Aditya, helium is this, and this is something which happens in the sun, and the one which comes out becomes our inner soul or Kundalini. In this picture I have shown how the concept is and how the neuroscience proton-proton nuclear reaction from hydrogen 4 to helium 4 happens, and how this, and is the result some of the statement of Ved, mother and daughter of Daksha, the king, is Aditi. And Upanishad, the mother and daughter of Aditya is Aditi. I think this explained it very well. This is now spirituality and science coming together. And once you are able to do that, that means you have really concentration of very high energy. And that means your IQ and also is going to increase as your energy increases. I am showing it. Now when this particular thing comes to inside the ventricles and then integrate the brain, that's the time I realize that Kundalini itself centers on autonomic nervous system, endocrine system, and insular cortex came. That's why from 8 to 10 stages, and outer 3 layers of neocortex also get activated when you concentrate on Sahasrara chakra, which is 1 foot over the head. And as a result, I was able to produce the results which not others do it, because they are not even concentrating on Kundalini 1 foot over, and that is Turyatitam as such. And that is what Om is all about. Now chakras I have already explained, the clockwise and anti-clockwise goes on, not repeating it here. Now there are Sat chakra, they have 6 chakras, not 7 chakras as far as Sat chakra is concerned. Mooladhar, Swadhisthana, Nabhi, Anhata, Vishuddhi and Ajna only. And these are the only 6 things. And this is what Serpent Power, written by Sir John, is a very good work on that. I liked it. And this is associated with the reptilian brain. I have already shown when it is inside Mooladhara from bottom to inside the brain, this is structure, and it centers only on cranial parasympathetic, sympathetic and sacral parasympathetic. Incidentally, there are 4 centers of cranial parasympathetic, 14 for sympathetic, 3 for sacral. 4 plus 18 plus 3 is 21. Only when this goes to the Sahasrara chakra, you get the 22nd step. So this you can see 22 by 21 here also very clearly. Now when internalizations of core thing in 95 SR, you can see inside as such very clearly. Having done that, I have gone to give the world mathematical design Divyang. You can see 22 by 21, power of 10 chakras plus this, and that is the number. And as a result, I said intelligence quotient in my case could be 1000, and it's scientifically correct. Now I'm bringing into picture some of the important people. There are 2 scientists in the world I have great respect. One is Albert Einstein, who said more and more he studied the universe, more and more he knows there is a God there. And incidentally, he had IQ test and it was recorded as 160. And that's it. Nicholas Tesla had an IQ ranging starting from 180 and over a period went up to 320. But that also shows that there is no uniformity. And I also had in 1960 my IQ for Madras Medical College and had more than 180. I did not give importance, did not make an issue of it because I felt the system is defective because it's based on maths and patterns. And once you know it, next time you do it, it's going to increase. Third time more, fourth time, because memory also helps how things are. That is further thing. That's one part. But that does not give you to level which we are capable. Maybe Tesla could go to 320. Maybe I could go up to 130. But I'm sure because power I've shown in power spectrum analysis with eyes open on Sahasrara chakra is phenomenal. At the same time, all these experts are subject of interest, only one subject or two, they are basically mathematicians, whereas I have learnt all the 64 arts and sciences in the past. As a result, all the 64 parts of the brain are fully integrated, activated and one. I think that makes the difference. Others are knowing only one subject, not 64 arts. And there are 64 parts of the brain we can analyze with EEG, the power spectrum analysis, and that is a phenomenal. Now with that, I say with the closed eyes, I can produce 8.5. Divyank was conceived, recognized and revealed by me in 2015 and this EEG was taken 2018. With the closed eyes, it was 8.5 Hertz throughout the brain in all the 64 arts. You can see 16 here very clearly, but all the 64 art it was. But with opening the eyes, it became down to 8. You are very close to Akash Kosh, which frequency is 7.83. And once that is done, Sahasrara, you are in tune with Akash Kosh. Akash Kosh has got all the past, present, and future records are recorded there. You get the information from there, not from the Google or anything on the earth. I think that made a difference in my case. Maybe from that I have gone to this particular stage, which was done later. But you can see Ida, Pingla, Sushmani Chakra, everything is there. And you can see the light inside, you can see the light outside. And I think that made a difference. And I think that's enough for this. How Kundalini has made a difference to me. Only when I experience that within my own self, I have an experience, only then I am able to understand and appreciate Vedas and Upanishads. For me, translation of Vedas and Upanishads and other scriptures is much easier after experience with man, because I see both simultaneously, and that is what Aham Brahmasmi all about. Human being is just identical form of divine consciousness. Solar system, spiral galaxy, or the entire universe and the human being are identical, and because I've experienced that, studying that, I think I'm able to bridge the gap. As a result, the information, data, information, knowledge, wisdom which Akhand Vidyashram is giving is the knowledge which should be taught to all the students hereafter. And with that, this is enough. Thank you very